Everyone say cheese! We all aspire to capture that awesome family photo. You know the one. Everyone's looking, posed, smiling, the unicorn of all photos. But let's face it, once we add in Shy Little Sam, a Grumpy Granny, Ballet Brenda, and 57 "let's try that one more time" shots, it's feeling hopeless. But what if I told you those 57 tries could be the key to that perfect photo? What if I could show you how to take that photo to Sweet Little Sam, Grinning Granny, and Beautiful Brenda? Before we begin, a little PSA. Make sure you have permission to edit before you make any changes. If you or a family member took the photo free of charge, you're likely good to go. But if it was taken by a photographer, contact them to inquire about rights or permissions to edit. Ethical is the way to go for a happy photo. You get the idea. First, we have one of my own personal family photos. Now, it was taken on a whim by a family friend at dusk, so the quality isn't great. Frankly, it's really bad, but it isn't often we are all together, so you can understand my nephew's embarrassment when he later realized he was the only one not smiling in the only decent photo that we had gotten. Good thing he has an awesome aunt to erase his faux pas from any future family photo frames. Here I've opened the photo in Adobe Photoshop. First, you want to take note of any details about the person that you're wanting to edit. I noticed with my nephew that his face and his body are squared to the camera. There's minimal shadowing on his face to worry with. So I found this other picture that's a little better quality than my original photo, but that's alright. It's always easier to degrade a photo than it is to make it better, so it's definitely workable. His angle and everything else is better, and he was even having a better hair day. Bonus! On the photo with the replacement face, you're going to want to double click on background. You can either choose to rename it or hit OK, whichever one you would prefer. This just lets you work with the layer instead of leaving it locked. Next, we choose the rectangular marquee tool to select the area just around his immediate face. We won't need the rest of the picture. Control-C to copy. Now we go to the original photo and Control-V to paste. You'll notice it's placed it on its own layer. While we're here, let's go ahead and rename this background layer. Now, as you can see, he's much too large currently. In order to make resizing the new face easier, we'll change the opacity. I'll make it about 50%. Make sure you have the correct layer selected. Now that we can see through the new face to the old face, we'll be able to align the faces up. Now, hold down Shift and drag the corners to keep your ratios correct. Be patient with this process. I like to make sure that the eyes and ears are as closely aligned as possible. You may need to zoom in order to see it just a little bit better. As long as it looks blurry, you're not quite there. Keep working. You may need to rotate a little, move it around. If you're having a tough time with the mouse, use your arrow keys to gently nudge it into place. It's getting pretty close there. But I'm noticing that it's just a little bit off. If you feel like with all these tactics you still can't quite get it, you may need to go ahead and change the vertical or horizontal ratio just a little bit. But do that as a last resort. Sometimes when pictures are taken, they're just a slightly different angle, so this will help you to line them up a little more accurately. Click the check mark to accept the changes, and turn your opacity back up. You'll notice on my photo, the original photo is a much poorer quality than the new face that I'm trying to use. To adjust this, I'm just going to go into Image, Adjustments, and Color Balance. I'm going to turn the redness up just a little bit because I noticed the original photo has a little bit of a red tint. Click OK. Hopefully you won't have to do this to yours, but I wanted you to see the process. Now I'll go to Filters, Noise, and Add Noise. Rarely should you ever want to add noise, but here we are. By adding just a little bit, you notice that the texture begins to look really similar to the original photo. That should be close enough. I'm going to click OK. Now then, the texture is similar, the colors are similar. I think I'm ready to continue. You'll want to stay zoomed in for this and click this Add Layer Mask. Make sure you've clicked this white box on the right side of the mask area. You'll use your paintbrush to adjust the picture. Now you're not actually erasing, but you're hiding. Black will conceal while white will reveal. Also, make sure your edges are a little soft. It'll make it a little less tedious. Continue working around the face until you've achieved the look that you were going for. This is another project to be patient with, but it's fully worth it in the end. I've listed some shortcuts here to make this project a little quicker. The brackets will adjust your brush size, and the letter X will toggle back and forth between the foreground and background paintbrush colors. Keep in mind, only black and white will work for this. When you've finished, zoom out to admire your work. For a little added fun, use the eyeball next to the layer mask to see what it looked like before and after your hard work. So let's recap. First, you'll have to find a compatible photo. 2, copy, paste, and use decreased opacity to line the faces up. 3, add a layer mask. Not quite that kind. 4, use the paintbrush tool to conceal and reveal. And last, admire your final product. Let's try that again on another project. Here's another family photo that we can edit with the same sort of scenario. This time it was my own little stinker making a "I'm so tired of taking pictures" face. But luckily I was able to go out and find another picture that her face was facing forward with minimal shadowing, very similar, that I was able to use again. I've already renamed both background layers, so we're basically ready to begin. We'll select the rectangular marquee tool and select just her face because, as I said last time, we don't need the whole picture. Control C to copy, we'll go to the picture we want to edit, Control V to paste, and just like last time, we're going to select the Move tool and move it into place. We'll reduce the opacity so that we can see what we're doing and work to resize it and line up those eyes. Remember, this is a lot easier once you zoom in. And there we have it. Check mark to accept the changes. We'll bring that opacity back up. Add the layer mask. Make sure we are on the white square and that we have our paintbrush tool and that we have black and white paintbrush colors selected. And then we begin to conceal and reveal as needed. I'm using black right now to conceal the picture on top. And there we have it. Good as new. Happy. I always enjoy the transition at the end. And we're done. Now we have a nice family photo with everyone looking and everyone smiling. Good luck on your projects. Happy editing.